In May, Carlsson and fellow former Tesla executive Paolo Cerruti announced plans to build their own $4.5 billion electric battery plant to power electric cars, trucks, ships and, of course, a few Swedish snowmobiles. We will produce a battery with significantly lower carbon footprint than the current supply chains, Carlsson said during a September visit to his office in downtown Stockholm. His startup firm Northvolt is raising $120 million for the first phase of the plant, which Carlsson says will produce 32 gigawatt-hours when fully running in 2023. The Gigafactory will produce 50 GWh of batteries when complete, although that might triple with 2 additional factory segments. Tesla expects to have a net-zero energy factory without even a natural gas line. Excess energy from its rooftop solar panels will be stored in wall battery packs, and it will also have an on-site battery recycling facility. Carlsson is banking on European drivers' shift from clean diesel, a fantasy that turned out to be a fraud when EPA officials found that VW had rigged engine software to cheat on emissions tests to electric vehicles. Volkswagen said this month that it will spend $60 billion on batteries to power dozens of new EV models in the next 5 years. That announcement follows BMW's plan to mass-produce 12 EV models by 2025, while Volvo is switching to EV manufacturing beginning in 2019. Looking at these carmakers' PR moves in the past few months, Northvolt's timing could be right. But is it realistic to think that a small Swedish startup company can produce a perfectly green electric battery? Infrastructure: this is the enormous Gigafactory, where Tesla will build its future electric vehicles. Jaguar embraces its electric future by resurrecting its past. Jaguar Land Rover unveils an all-electric E-Type, and promises much more battery power in its future. Electric vehicles: Tesla's Model 3 is making electric vehicles successful even before its launch today. The Northvolt site is a scenic area of rolling forests, blueberry bushes and biking trails on a peninsula jutting into the Bay of Bothnia. But it's also a sweet spot for heavy industry. A few miles away lies Boliden's massive e-waste recovery facility that extracts gold and other precious metals. While lithium-ion battery recycling still isn't economically feasible, Carlsson says he believes that the technology can be improved by Boliden and other commercial partners. At the same time, thermal energy generated by Northvolt's plant might be diverted into the Skellefteå municipal heating system, or converted into another source of electricity. There is enough energy from the plant to heat the whole city, says Christopher Svanberg, a spokesman for Nordpol, a business development group that has been working to bring data centers like Facebook and other energy-intensive industries to Sweden's north. In the end, though, the success of Northvolt and electric cars will depend on individual consumer choices. A green pedigree on the battery might not be enough for a US driver to buy a car powered by a Northvolt battery, but knowing where the battery goes in the future might be more of a selling point, says Alyssa Kendall, professor of civil and environmental engineering at UC Davis and a former auto engineer at Ford. From consumer perspective, they don't think too much about the life cycle impact of producing that electric vehicle, Kendall says. I do think the consumer cares about the life of the battery. Tesla says it will replace its batteries when they begin to lose the ability to hold a charge, and BMW is using some older batteries to store grid power in California and Germany. Northvolt will be selling its batteries to 2 or 3 automakers, so it hasn't made that kind of promise yet. With Carlsson, a bit of Silicon Valley's hard-charging corporate DNA has been inserted to Sweden's cooler corporate tech culture. Sweden is one of the greenest countries on the planet, but whether Northvolt can turn that ethos into a successful car battery might depend more on future European and American car buyers.